welcome back to Optimize for Chaos. Let us dive into the topic for today. We're talking about problems. Yeah, we've all got them, right? They can be these huge cosmic things, or as tiny as that bill you forgot to pay. But what if there's a thread that connects them all? What if the real nature of a problem has less to do with the obstacle itself and a whole lot more to do with us? I know. It sounds a little out there, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got this abstract puzzle for a genius mathematician. And on the other, you've got that deeply personal, pit-in-your-stomach feeling. But believe it or not, they both plug into the very same part of what it means to be human. All right, first up, let's go big. I mean really big. We're talking about the kind of problems that challenge our entire understanding of reality itself. Okay, so this is a real heavyweight. For more than 160 years, the best and brightest minds in math have been chipping away at this thing. It basically suggests that prime numbers, the building blocks of math that seem totally random, actually follow a secret, beautiful pattern.
Now look, you don't have to be a math whiz to appreciate this. That one little line of symbols could hold the key to the very bedrock of how numbers work. It's like a secret message written in the language of the universe, just waiting to be decoded.
So why should you care about some dusty old math problem? Well, because almost everything you do online, your banking, your messages, your late-night shopping, it's all protected by the fact that it's incredibly hard to work with huge prime numbers. If someone solves this hypothesis, they might get a treasure map to find those primes, and that could basically break the internet as we know it. And if you thought that was a head-scratcher, get a load of this. Everything we know, everything we can see and touch, stars, planets, you, me, all of it is in that tiny 5% sliver. The other 95% of the entire universe, we have absolutely no clue what it is. We are quite literally in the dark about most of reality. Okay, so with that humbling thought, let's bring things a little closer to home. Okay, let's zoom in, way in. From the edge of the cosmos, right back into our own heads. What are the problems that are actually living rent-free in our minds? The ones that have us staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m.? Well, the data is pretty dang clear. The big one, by a landslide, is money. A staggering 81% of us are losing sleep over it. Right behind that are worries about our jobs, our safety, and politics. These are the modern-day monsters under the bed. And this right here just nails it. That horrible sinking feeling you get from a credit card bill, it isn't just you being dramatic. Your ancient cave person brain literally cannot tell the difference between a spreadsheet and a saber-toothed tiger. The alarm bells go off just the same. So, our brains are hardwired to freak out about debt and job security. But that brings up a really important question. Are we worrying about the right things? Let's look at what the cold hard data says actually threatens us. And fair warning, the numbers might not be what you think. 20.5 million. That is just a jaw-dropping number. That's how many people die from heart disease every single year. It is the world's #1 killer by a huge margin. We're talking more than all cancers and accidents combined. And yet, it's a quiet problem, isn't it? It doesn't scream from the headlines. This next one is tough to hear, but it's so important. 11. Every minute of every day, 11 children die, often from things we could have prevented. But, and this is a really big but, that number used to be astronomically higher, which is proof. It's proof that we can actually solve some of the most tragic problems we face. Now check this out, because this one is a real mind-bender. The U.S. Surgeon General has warned that being chronically lonely is as dangerous for your long-term health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Just let that sink in. A problem that feels like it's all in our heads can have devastating physical consequences. So we've got all these problems, big, small, real, perceived. But have you ever noticed that as soon as you solve one, another one just pops right up to take its place? It's like a game of whack-a-mole. Well, it turns out the reason for that is all about the strange and fascinating way our brains are wired. I mean, seriously, if you look at almost any objective measure, health, poverty, safety, the world has improved dramatically. So why doesn't it feel that way? Why don't we ever reach a point where we can just kick back and say, we're good? Are we just doomed to always be dissatisfied? This brilliant study basically gives us the answer. So researchers told people to find blue dots on a screen. Super easy. But then they secretly started making the blue dots much, much harder to find. And here's the wild part. People didn't stop finding threats.
Their brains just changed the definition of the problem. They started flagging purple dots as if they were blue. Our brains are problem-seeking machines. If they can't find a big, obvious problem, they'll just redefine a smaller one as a big deal.
And that brings us to maybe the most crucial idea of all. There is a huge difference between a problem and suffering. A problem is an external fact. The car won't start. That's it. Suffering, that's the internal story we tell ourselves about it. This is a disaster. Why does this always happen to me? The problem is the event. The suffering is our reaction. And that reaction, that's optional.
And when we choose to engage with our problems instead of just suffering from them, incredible things can happen. Get this. One doctor cracked the knuckles on just one of his hands for 50 years to solve the problem of whether it causes arthritis. It doesn't, by the way. An illiterate peasant nicknamed the Cabbage led a rebellion and became an emperor. One man single-handedly planted a forest bigger than New York's Central Park. Our greatest achievements are born from tackling our problems head-on.
So maybe in the end, the goal isn't to live a life without problems. Our brains won't let us anyway. Maybe the whole point is to choose our problems, to find the struggles that are worth struggling for, the ones that give us meaning. Because a life without any discomfort might also be a life without any meaning. So let me ask you, what problems are you choosing to solve? Follow for more interesting conversations. Optimize for chaos.